Happy Friday! We're here to answer all your questions about home buying. So if you have questions about programs, questions about interest rates, questions about where are interest rates going, what's the Fed talking about, questions about programs, I don't have down payment, how can I make that happen? I make a lot of money, but I don't have the ability to save a down payment. Can I still buy a house? All these thoughts and questions about your life, about your family's future with home purchasing. We have your answers right here. So please fill up that chat box. Ask all the questions. Give us all your thoughts. Even if you have conspiracy theories about what you think is going to happen, drop them here. And your concerns. And your concerns. A lot of people have concerns about buying a house. Whether that be, can I make my mortgage payment? Is the market going to crash? Whatever your thoughts are, put them right here in the chat box. We're going to address them.
Him?
And him too.
Him?
If he's a he, then
him.
he's a he.
Okay.
If he's a she and he wants to be called a he, I'll call you a he, whatever. So let us know what your thoughts are right here, and we're going to answer all your questions. I did see a question hop in already, and I don't know what it said. So thank everyone for joining.
We are live on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and what's the other one?
Facebook.
We're live on all of the platforms, ready to help you get a loan in 2024. I have been watching some other loan officers do what we're doing. It's kind of fun to watch. And they bring no energy. And I want to be the opposite of that. I want to be the opposite. Because I watch them and I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong. A lot of them, I mean, they're spitting basic guidelines. They're not wrong. Once you really understand this business, it's like being a surgeon or attorney. There's certain things that are just absolute. FHA 3.5% absolute. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac 5% absolute. If you're going home ready or home possible, 3% down absolute. There's certain things. So you can sound pretty smart if you just quote some of these basics. It's not really high level work. It's kind of low hanging fruit. But the interesting part is I watch these guys and they're just boring. They're like, yeah, I might be able to do your loan. Yeah, well, you can probably just call me. We'll find out. And I'm sitting there going, wow, they don't get it. It's not just, can I do your loan? It's, do you trust this guy to do your loan? And how can you find out if you trust him? Other than to watch, you can watch. Okay.
Todd in the house. Do lenders watch your bank account and purchase before closing?
Yes, they do. They watch everything. How do they watch everything? Well, when you first start, Todd, when you first start your process, we're going to ask for the last 2 months' bank statements. And what everybody's thinking is we're just looking at how much is in the bank. They're not. The underwriters go, okay, what do you spend your money on? Is there cash deposits in here? Are there cash withdrawals? And then, so the guideline says no large cash deposits. Well, what is a large cash deposit? That gets weird when you get into it, but if you've done enough loans, you figure out it's about 10% of your annual income. That's different for everybody. And large cash deposit is relative. If all of a sudden we see people coming in with $10,000 a month, $10,000, but that's the way they've always done it, it's not a large cash deposit. It's the way they do business. So the guideline does say, hey, it's per underwriter discretion, and that comes up a lot, per underwriter discretion. But you have to know the guideline because the guideline says cash deposits. So as soon as you give us your bank statements, you set a profile up, and we have a profile. Cool. During escrow, we're going to look at your bank statement again, and we're going to go, all of a sudden you're not paying your bills. That's strange. Are you trying to front load, sandbag, hold off on paying your bills till we fund the loan? We know what you're doing. So they watch your bank statements all the way through the escrow just to make sure you're not getting in over your head.
Yeah. And if you live a normal life, nothing to be concerned about.
Yeah, nothing to be concerned about.
Don't hide your Chick-fil-A purchases or anything like that. It's all good. Ash, 1922.
Why would you hide Chick-fil-A purchases?
That's what I just said. Don't hide them. I love Chick-fil-A.
I mean, there's certain purchases that I can see where you might not want to tell everybody that you are, donating to the Purple Party. You may not want to tell anybody that, and it shows up on your bank account. But why would you want to hide Chick-fil-A?
And if you were donating,
Chick-fil-A
why
delicious,
would you want to hide it?
and you can get grilled Chick-fil-A. You can. So it's not just bad for you. It can be good for you.
Yeah,
kind of.
right. 1922. How soon should I take a buyer assistance course? These courses are silly, if you ask me. They're a bit silly.
Why?
They're a bit silly because the banks, there's different programs, guys. Different programs, that's for different things. But these programs are put out to help people. Look at all this money we put in this fund to help people. You still have to qualify for it. So if you live a good life and are doing things right, you can go traditional or you can use one of these programs. But here's why it's silly. They're making you do it. And guess what? Some of them cost money.
What?
About $100.
What?
$100 sometimes.
What?
You can get a grant and it's free. Sometimes. Not all the time. Not all the time.
Slick Rick's in the house.
And then, oh right, man, I love that guy. Lottie Dottie. And you have to spend about an hour, sometimes 2 hours on these courses. That being said, I'm going to recommend don't take one until you're ready to buy a house. Don't spend the money. Don't waste your time. Once you're going to buy a house, invest the time. Invest the time on getting us the documents. Invest the time on transferring money around. Invest the time in looking what you're going to paint the house. I don't know. And then invest the time in one of these courses. So I'm going to say get pre-qualified, make sure it works, go shopping, secure the property, then take the course. What do you say?
Wow, that's a lot of stuff going on there.
4 things, man.
Well, the only time I would say the buyer's assistance course is when they're required. They're like he said, they're basic and they're kind of stupid. But that being said, they do have to figure out that people don't know basic stuff. And if you don't believe me, ask a high school graduate to send a letter to you at a different address.
They're not going to teach you that.
That's so simple. It's so simple. In high school, you should be able to do that. Ask them to balance a checkbook and ask them why. Most of them don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. So when I look at these buyer programs, they're like, hey, maybe you shouldn't buy more house than you afford. Do you agree or disagree? And they're like, check yes or no. Well, I really like the mansion, so I'm going to say no. Well, you can't get a house. Well, that's kind of what it is. It's so basic
stuff. They tell you stupid stuff like, hey, did you know if you don't make your payment, it could affect your credit?
That's what I mean.
Stuff like that.
And that's so rudimentary and fundamental that if you lived in our society and you actually function, you should know this stuff. But then I've seen a lot of high school graduates who can't send a letter. I mean, like literally, and I was one of those guys, by the way. I couldn't send a letter when I got out of high school. I didn't finish high school. But I couldn't send it. I didn't know. I sent a letter to myself because I put who I was sending it to in the upper left-hand corner, and I put my name. I don't know why I was thinking this, but I put my name in the main box.
You got yourself a letter. You're excited, weren't you? I got mail. Well, here's the thing that you're missing,
worse than that. Worse than that. When it came to me, I was like, oh my God, why did they send it back? I must have done something wrong.
You did.
They sent it back to me. Mm-hmm. I thought they sent it back. The post office said they sent it back. And then when I'm like, oh, that's my handwriting. Dumbass, I sent it to myself.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. And then I was like, you know what the hack is? I think the hack is going to be to do this and then put the other person there and don't put any postage and also get free mail for life. That was how my mind was working.
You tried that too, huh? Okay. But here's the thing. Here's what you're missing. Because you talk about this younger generation who doesn't know how to balance a checkbook. You and I did not have an app that showed me how much was in my account. We did not have an app that showed this cleared, this cleared, this cleared. The kids do. So do they need to balance a checkbook? Maybe, maybe not. But the access is in our pocket 24/7. So different time. Definitely different time.
Well, they need to understand the concept of balancing. The concept, because no matter what, whether you use an app or not, if you spend $2,000 and you only make $1,000, you're in trouble. But if you understand, you make $1,000, spend $1,000, and you're balanced.
You probably shouldn't do that either, though.
Yeah.
Spend $500. Spend $500
I go with
or
that,
less.
yeah.
Or
I go
less.
with that, yeah.
But Ash, when you're ready to buy a house, that's when you should do it, and don't do it unless you need to. So if your lender tells you need to do the course, then do the course. But hold off.
And we don't do it just because we're like, hey, maybe this person should take a first-time homebuyer program. They tell us, hey, if you're going to use this program, this person needs to take this course.
Well, let me give you the scam. This is a scam, guys. Here's the scam. The scam is this fund put money into this account to help people. So you know what they're doing? They're funding these counseling people. They're funding these organizations. They're funding their brother's organization that runs this, and then paying the hourly wages to all the employees and spending that money. So it's a scam on the way they're spending the money, because they have to show Congress or whoever, hey, we did all these good things for people. No, you didn't. It's a waste of time.
David Aubrey, Oswald shot Kennedy, but evidence suggests Secret Service agent shot him also by accident. Shot Kennedy also? He accidentally shot Kennedy? Why would a Secret Service agent have his scope on the President of the United States?
He didn't say scope. He could have went like this.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah. Well, David, I've been down this path a lot, and the very fact, you know, what they don't tell us tells me more than what they did tell us. What they don't tell us, they do not redact, or they do not issue out the unredacted files. And even if they did, I think they kind of lean their finger on the scale of, nah, this didn't happen, nothing to see over here, don't worry about it. I think that's going on a lot. I thought that when President Orange Man got into office, I thought he was going to say, hey, I'm just going to expose it. And he didn't. He didn't.
He
that
said
one
he will
freaked
this
me
time.
out. He said he will this time. That's what he said last time. But when he didn't, and I was like, okay, that was really strange. And he sent out a redacted file again. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Then he talked to Judge Napolitano, a guy I follow. And Judge Knapp says, why didn't you release these? And President Orange Man said, hey, if you would have seen what I saw in there, you would not release it either. Now, that was prior to a conviction. After a conviction, I really hope he goes scorched earth with the truth. Listen to those words. Scorched earth with the truth. Scorched earth with the truth.
Eviction? What do you call it? Conviction. Conviction. Yeah. He's now been part of the system, so he's what they call thug life.
Thug life, man. Yeah, and I don't know if you listen to one side, the left side, it really hurt him. If you listen to the right side, it really helped him. When I think about it logically, I just hope we have a new president.
Yeah. So here's the thought, though. Here's the thought. So he didn't release it last time. Mm-hmm. He got heat for not releasing it, although he may have a good reason for not releasing it. I don't think he liked that heat, and I don't think he likes going back on his word. So now him doing it this time, he's going to go, like you said, scorched earth. He's like, all right, you guys
with the truth,
ready or not? Here it is.
Well, he came out and he said, they asked him, hey, are you going to go after the people that went after you? And he goes, this has to stop. That's logical. That's an adult way of thinking. Mm-hmm. And to go scorched earth with the truth is just with the truth.
Yeah.
It's just with the truth.
Not hurting anybody.
It's not
going after anyone.
It's not, I'm mad, I'm going to use everything I got. I hope he goes scorched earth with the truth. Just drops truth. Truth is ugly. Truth is ugly. I hate to tell you this, but this bank does not really want to give you a loan. They want to make money. Giving you a loan is a side product. That's a side effect of they want to make money. Yep. The owners of the bank have big houses and all kinds of good stuff. They want to keep those houses. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm. We're going to get to every single one of your questions, guys, so hang in there. Just give us a minute. We'll get to your question. Jamie, how soon after I buy can I refi if rates go down?
Jamie, pretty fast. There's only one real slow loan to do, and that's called a VA, and that's only if you go from VA to VA. So if you go from VA to VA, it's 210 days from first payment?
Yeah.
First payment. 210 days from first payment. So that's the guideline. Now, your loan officer is going to tell you you have to wait 6 months to a year. Here's why. Because if he's a broker, he gets something called a clawback. If you refinance too quick and you don't do it with him, they take his commission back. Say, what? Yeah, they'll take his commission back. So he's going to tell you, well, you know, the rules are you can't refinance within 6 months or 1 year, depending on his contract. And his rules in his bank are. But if you got a conventional loan and next day you found another lender who wants to do it better, the rules for the new bank aren't that. The loan officer is just going to be pissed because he's going to get his commission clawed back. That's a real deal.
Yep. I think FHA might have FHA to FHA for 6 months.
If you work for a direct lender, they just won't let you do it. They won't claw back your commission, but they just won't let you do it. They'll tell you, hey, listen, it doesn't meet the guidelines. Or there is another version where They'll allow you to do it if it's within the less than 6 months or less than a year, but you just don't make any commission on it. And you'll still do it if it's good for the client. I've done free loans. Have you done free loans?
Oh, yeah.
And we'll do free loans for you. We prefer to make a commission, but that's if you're working with a direct lender. It's a little different.
So, Jamie, nothing to worry about. Get into your house now. Rates aren't going to bottom out for a little while. So 2-3 years from now, rates should bottom out. Hopefully, cross your fingers, pray to God, whatever you need to do. So nothing to rush on. Ash, I had to teach my senior how to write a letter.
How to write a letter or how to balance a checkbook. There's some things that are so basic. I can't believe that the people that are coming out into society don't know this stuff. It just blows me away. It blows me away.
But they do know if you're a grown one, be a boy, you can be a boy. Ash, 1922 again. What? I have to make my monthly payments? Biden isn't going to make the taxpayers for me? Maybe he will.
Yeah,
Maybe
I don't
he
know.
will.
Well, the problem is the economy's in real trouble, and it's in real trouble because we're at the end of all those free gifts, and those free gifts aren't free, man. If you know anything in life, by the way, this is something you should learn before you get out of high school. If somebody's offering you something for free, there's a catch. There's always a catch. Nobody does anything for free. And I hate to say this because this is, once again, scorched earth with the truth. Most charities are bullshit. Most charities are ways for the guys who run the charity to make $100,000 to $1 million a year, and they kind of help people in the process.
Nonprofits.
Nonprofits, yeah. And there's actually services and companies designed to ferret these people out. But I got news. Those people are making money to do this. Once you understand the basic dynamics of life, you're rather, hey, listen, the bank's trying to make money. They want to make interest. Hey, I'm trying to make a commission. All right, now everything's on the up and up. Cool, now we can move forward.
Yeah, load up the chat box, guys. Load up the chat box. Ask all your questions and thoughts and opinions. User 2897. I have a charge-off account. Oh, actually, I missed one. Jose Zavala. I'm still waiting on my pre-approval. Give it to me. Gave it to the loan officer last week. Is it us? Jose, are you working with us?
Are you working with us? If you're waiting on a pre-approval, Jose, let us know.
Yeah, I'll get it to you right now.
Yeah, sometimes we get, things happen. We get, like, let's just say we get 100 applications a month.
Yeah, I don't think it's
we
us,
try
though.
and talk to everybody. And we actually have 5 loan officers on our team. 5 licensed loan officers that help us put the loans together. Shout out to, ready?
Go.
Jerry, Ryan, Sean, Gordon, Aurora. So between us, there's 7 of us, and if we can't actually address, we'll talk with everybody. We got to talk, but to build the file sometimes takes hours or days. I'm working on one that I've been working on for 3 days right now, and it's a tough file. So I'm still working on it, but that means that these other ones. So if you're working with us, let us know, call us, text us, or whatever. Bring it to the top of the file.
Hell yeah. User 2897. I have charge-off accounts that's 6 years old. Capital One won't remove it. How much will it affect me?
User 2897. Probably not that much. Once it becomes a charge-off, if it's within the last year, it affects you. But every year that it goes away, the effect diminishes exponentially till actually there's no effect at all. However, if you want it gone, you can hire a credit repair company. Mm-hmm. They'll get rid of it. Mm-hmm. That's what they do for a living. And remember that dynamic of how there's people have to do something for money? Well, if you paid somebody and then the credit repair company gets a legal letter that says you have to prove this or remove it. So now they, without making any money, they got to send one of their staffers to prove it. And maybe they'll do it once or twice. But after a while, they're going to be like, listen, we're going to keep sending people. This guy's not going to stop. Just erase it. Yep. And that's what happens.
Yep. User 2897, I wouldn't even hesitate in getting pre-qualified. I think you're going to get approved as long as you meet the guidelines. I don't think that charge-off's going to affect you negatively at all. And it says here that you're trying to get a house in July. So, yeah, you need to get qualified like now.
Like right now. Yesterday would have been better, but today will work too. Todd, after you close, how soon can I make a large purchase?
Woo-wee, Todd.
Todd, you're ready to roll.
trying to get
Man, you're a
Tesla
baller.
truck.
You're trying to get a Tesla truck? Those
Hell
things
yeah.
How much are they? $120?
I don't know.
The Tesla trucks are pretty
I've
nice.
never looked into
Todd,
them.
I want you to send a picture of the Tesla truck when you get it.
Or is it a Raptor?
It could be a Raptor. Would you rather have a Raptor or a Tesla truck?
I'd
Which
rather
would you
have a Raptor.
I'd rather have a Raptor too.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd rather have a T-Rex. than a
I actually
Raptor.
seen someone put the Baja style on the Tesla truck
Yeah.
and was in the sand dunes.
And
Pretty
it didn't,
badass.
I saw him. I saw it stall
badass.
out.
Did you?
I saw it
I
because the
didn't see that.
wheelbase is so far. The problem
It's
if you're
long.
going four-wheel drive,
It's long.
wheelbase is long. So Todd, after you close the loan and you record, most important, not fund, record. After you record, buy whatever you want.
Nice.
Any day you want. Oh, you can buy that Raptor. You can buy Tesla. You want to buy them both? Go to both dealerships and buy them both. Yeah. Don't be irresponsible though, Todd. If you can't afford it, don't do it. Make sure you can afford it.
Or let's get you another house. Ooh, now you become an investor.
Oh.
Your mom. Which one is Chris and which one is Lee?
Dude, which one's your mom? Your mom is right there. Your mom. Oh, your mom. We talk about your
they're
mom.
gonna throw hands on you.
Dude, really, I know. I usually don't
That's
talk
Lee.
about. Dude,
That's Lee.
I usually don't talk about your mom.
Lee. L-E-E.
I don't talk about your mom. But
I
right
ain't
now,
talking about your mom.
I am talking straight to your mom. Straight to your mom.
He will
That's
date
what I'm
your
talking
mom.
to. Dude, I will call out your mom all day long. I'm Lee. That's Chris.
Mia Love. Good question, Mia Love. I like this one. Can an I-10 home buyer refinance after getting their social security number?
Ooh,
I like that, Mia
tricky. Not too tricky, though. Okay, so social security number does not mean you're a citizen. That's where it gets difficult. I-10 is an I-10. It's a special kind of loan. Social security number gives you the ability to get a regular conventional conforming loan as long as everything else fits in the guidelines. So theoretically, right away, but there could be some hiccups. And the hiccups could be you don't intend on staying here. That could be a hiccup. Yeah.
But if you get a social security number, you're a citizen, right?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay. Forget that. I don't know that process. User 2897. I have 100K down. Make 100K a year. My debt monthly is 350. Damn, you're badass. No other debt. Hoping I can get there pre-approved for 550. You're right in the wheelhouse, man.
550.
Right in the wheelhouse. Did you get pre-qualified already? It sounds like you did.
Yeah, it sounds like you did. You know your stuff. Yeah. Okay. So here's some things that you might. Back. I need the name. Where's the name?
Or 2897. Sorry.
2897. Hey, 2897. There's something very important that will determine your pre-qualification amount, and that's your interest rate. So the first thing you want to do is find out what your par interest rate is. Then you want to know how deep can I buy it, because you got 100 grand. You can spend 20,000 buying down an interest rate if you wanted to. If you spent 20,000, you can get a lot lower interest rate, which will increase your buying power significantly. You might be able to hit the 600s. So, with that much down, that gives you power. This is a shocker for you, user 2897. If you got money, you got power. Then we just have to make sure that you use that power correctly. So, yeah, 550 all day, every day.
Money, power, respect. Todd, rapper or Tesla? I was thinking about buying furniture. Good man, Todd. Good man. Furniture could be appreciated asset. Yeah. Tesla trucks and Raptors depreciating all day long.
Pretty much all the time.
There you go, Todd. Good move. User 2897. My credit card is $3K. Can I pay it off if needed?
Yeah, all day, every day. But be careful with that paying off the $3K credit card, because a $3K credit card will probably come in with a payment of, I don't know, $90 a month. And you might better serve using that $3,000 somewhere else. So we would entertain buying the rate down for $3,000. We would entertain paying off another debt. And sometimes the other debt is only like $1,200 a month. I'm sorry, $1,200 aggregate, but $120 a month. You're better off paying at $1,200 at $120 a month than a $3,000 with a $90 a month, because it's the monthly that we look at. The aggregate is somewhat factored in, but more importantly, monthly payment. So we want to go biggest bang for the buck. How much do I get if I pay off this? So there's a strategy to do all of this.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Don't forget to load up the chat box, guys. Ask us all your questions, thoughts, concerns, and it is time for a commercial.
If you need a badass loan, call a badass loan officer. You can reach your badass loan officers, Chris and Lee at New American Funding, by calling their private cell phone numbers, which are on the screen right now. By the way, don't call them right now, because Chris is on Instagram and Lee is on TikTok. And we cannot answer the phone. But as soon as we're done with our live, we will answer the phone and we will get you the house that you are looking for. This will disappear in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bye.
That's for you, $28.97.
$28.97.
Hoping
We're
to
here
get
for
a
you.
$5.50 pre-approval. It really is. Well, thank you. You're welcome.
Yep. What do we got?
You tell me, man, what's going on in the markets? What news are you picking up? I'm seeing a lot of good movement in the markets. Actually.
Well, you're seeing some good movement, but it's not for good reasons. So
Didn't say that.
yeah. So here's what's going on. There's a lot of banks that are on the edge of failing. And if the banks fail, then we could be in a very, very, very difficult situation. So, what can the Fed do to make sure the banks don't fail and the economy doesn't hiccup? The Fed can drop interest rates. Now, there's two reasons why you want to do it. One of it is because it's the right time to do it, and the other is because I had to do it. In a perfect world, we want to do it because it's the right time to do it. But if the Fed drops interest at this moment, it's going to be because he had to do it. And the market's sniffing this out. They're sniffing it out because we believe, well, first off, the Fed meets on June 12th. June 12th. 10th, 12th. 12th. June 12th. And then after that, they meet in July again. We do not believe the interest rate reduction will happen June 10th. But we believe that the rhetoric will be that indications are showing that we might be able to cut interest sooner rather than later. Even though it's already later rather than sooner.
Well, we saw what happened in the UK, right? They did their first cut.
Yes, not the UK, Canada. Canada did its first cut yesterday.
Let me research that.
Please do. I like when this happens. So there was and this is the factors that kick in are the global economic factors and the local factors. And the monetary policy does determine what's going on in what you can tell them what you found.
European Central Bank. So where's Europe? You can answer it.
Yeah, it's
the UK.
It's the UK. Now check to see if Canada, because I saw Canada cut yesterday too. European.
So if Canada and the UK cut rates, is the US likely to follow?
Well, the US is the big dog on the block, and they do it for their own internal version. The US does it for different reasons.
Wednesday.
Oh.
Canada cut on Wednesday.
So Canada cut first, and the UK cut next. All right. No, fair enough. We could both be right.
25 bips.
Yeah. So Canada cut its rates. Now the UK cut its rates. Now that signals that the US can cut its rates. Maybe. And if it does, things might go.
Well, we're different. I mean, the U.S. is making moves for specific reasons for the U.S., not to follow in trend with what the world is doing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. How is the economy in Canada?
Are we stuck there and not there?
No. Everything's fine. How are we in Canada? How is Canada doing as an economy? How is Europe doing as a country? I mean, or as a continent with the euro? Like, how are they performing versus the U.S.? Because we're in trouble. We're in a lot of trouble. We're in a lot of debt.
Everybody's in trouble. Everybody's in trouble. And the ones who aren't in trouble are lying. The ones who aren't in trouble...
China?
Yes. Yeah. What kind of payment am I looking at on $600K loan?
Ooh,
that's the same one? Is that the same one?
That's 1830.
That's 1830. What do you do in 1830? Okay, so 1830, I'm going to teach you something.
Some ballers in here today.
You're about to learn one of the most important things that you're ever going to learn in the history of mankind.
This is Chris, that's Lee.
That's the most important thing you're ever going to learn in the history of mankind. Now, the second most important thing, if you buy a $600,000 house, you are probably looking at a PITI of about $5,800.
Wow.
Somewhere in that range. However, here's something more that you need to know, user 1830. And that is that this is the chart that's on the FOMC website. FOMC is Fair Open Markets Committee. That's the Federal Reserve. This is the chairman of the Federal Reserve. His name is Jerome Powell, and these are the members of the Federal Reserve. Now, when they dictate monetary policy, they do it pretty accurately. Not like perfectly accurately. It's all over the place. But they do it pretty accurately, and right now the Fed funds rate is 5.25, 5.5. What the Fed says over the next 2.5 to 3 years is that they are going to go down, 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 all the way to 2.5%. 2.5% at the end of 26, beginning of 27, which is roughly 2 years, a little more than 2 years. So they are predicting that the rates will be at 2.6%. Now, user 1830, before you stop me and you say mortgage rates are not based off the Fed funds rate, you are right, and you are so wise for bringing that up. I cannot believe you brought that up. That is so smart. It is amazingly smart. And you are correct, user 1830. It is not based off of the Fed funds rate. It is based off of the 10-year yield. However, the 10-year yield goes lockstep with the 10-year rate. And it gets a little complicated, but here's the easy version. The easy version is, today, Fed funds rate is 5.5%. And if I priced you on a mortgage, you would probably come in at 7.5 par. 7.5 par. Par means you don't pay for it and you don't get any benefit for it, okay? Now, if we're at 5.5 and we just do this, 5.5 all the way down to 2.5, that is a 3-point drop. Let me check my math. 5.5 minus 3 equals 2.5. You checked me too, user 1830. Did you check me? You're right, I'm right, we know this. Okay, cool. You are so keen and so smart, user 1830. I'm trying to keep up with you, but I'm having a hard time. Anyway, so we know it's a 300 basis point drop or 3% drop. Then we go to 7.5 and we go, hey, if it's 7.5, let's just use some basic logic and let's remove 3% from 7.5 and we're going to land up at 4.5%. What? Yeah. So the Fed says that in about 2026 or 2027, we should be at 2.5 rates. And if you extrapolate that, you're going to land up with 4.5% mortgage rates. Now, here's some more information because you're so keen, user 1830. The information says this. If you're at par at 4.5%, you can buy into 3.5%. You might even be able to buy into 2%. And the Fed is predicting at this moment that is that going to be the lower part of the economic cycle. Cycles go up and down, up and down, up and down. You can track it for 100 years, actually for 200 years, because we've been doing the stock market for a little over 200 years. So, because you brought up all of these good points, user 1830, I'm going to tell you that if your payment was at, I think I told you $5,800 a month, and then you refinanced, that payment would go from $5,800 a month to about $4,500 a month, somewhere in that range. That's a lot of guesswork. It's a lot of guesswork. But because you called me on the carpet, user 1830, I had to show you and flex that I know what I'm talking about.
So the stock market's been around for 200 years?
Something like that.
So 1824 they had the stock market?
Somewhere in that range, yeah.
What app were they using to trade?
They were using the
Robinhood?
Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo was around back then.
Yeah, it was.
And they were actually horse and buggy.
They were horse and buggy. That's their theme as of today. Yeah.
How was horse and buggies?
They were pretty cool. Yeah, they were pretty cool. Yeah, they get great gas mileage, man. You won't believe how many miles to the gallon.
How many horsepower?
Yeah, there was 2 horsepower on most of them.
Yeah.
You can get one with 1 horsepower.
Hey, know this or not know this? Did you know this? And maybe you can help me clear it up. Did you know that 1 horsepower doesn't equal 1 horsepower? It's closer to 10, which is silly because if you look at a vehicle today that's 300 horsepower, that's 3,000 horsepower.
I know why you're saying that.
Tell me.
Okay, because your average horse in America is called a quarter horse or a palomino or a pinto. But when they actually put together the horsepower measurement, they use Clydesdales. Clydesdales are ridiculously strong.
Oh, it's a bigger, stronger horse.
And they needed to figure out how much horsepower does it take, or how do I put a unit of measurement? So they put something that the horse had to move from one spot to another spot.
It was out of a hole. It was pulling out of a hole.
Was it okay, so it was a horsepower, and they were using Clydesdales. Now, Clydesdales, if you know anything about Budweiser, I love Budweiser.
Red Label.
If you know anything about Budweiser, they have Clydesdale horses, and these horses are not regular horses. If you've ever been around them, like I was raised with horses, I know horses. Quarter horse, badass, they're fast, they're strong, they're amazing, but you go next to a Clydesdale, and you feel like you're next to a bodybuilder, man. These things are bad, and they're very gentle, but bad. They're badass. Anyway, so horsepower had to go with how out of a hole, moving a unit, but they use Clydesdales in that situation. So, I don't know if it's 10 times stronger than a regular horse.
Well,
but it might be. What's up, Tony Bones?
Tony Bow's in the house.
I
Where
know
you been?
we haven't seen Tony Bowles in a
Where you
while.
been? We're talking
What's
about
up, Tony
horses.
Bowles? We're talking about horses.
The economy sucks so
buying
bad
a
that
house.
We're talking about horses.
Yes, we're buying a house because you know what? You know what kind of gas mileage a horse and buggy gets? Unbelievable gas mileage.
Better than a Tesla.
You never have to stop at the gas station ever. Never. No, you do have to stop
Or
at
a
the
charging
feed store.
station.
At the
Or a
feed store,
charging
yeah, at the
station.
feed store. But you don't have to stop at the charging station. So, anyway, there's a lot going on.
I'm gonna call bullshit. I'm gonna say it's marketing. I'm gonna
Think
say
so?
I'm gonna say it was marketing where they did the horsepower the way they did. No doubt about it.
Well, if you think about centigrade and what Celsius and centigrade, Fahrenheit and Celsius, they had to figure out how to raise 1 cubic inch of water up 1 degrees. And that became a British thermal unit. So they had to get 1 cube of water, and they said, okay, it's now at 70 degrees. How much flame do I need? How much energy do I need in order to raise it to 71 degrees? And that's how you get British thermal units. And that's what
BTUs.
everything's BTUs. Yeah.
Tony Bowell said, I've been home thinking of my next master plan. I'll be giving you guys a call soon.
Tony, does this master plan involve taking over the world? There's somebody called Roaring Kitty, who's sitting back like this. I wonder what my master plan is. And Roaring Kitty
man.
got weird rich, like weird rich.
See his purchases recently?
Like weird rich, yeah.
Insane purchases.
And that's what Tony, he was just sitting back, Roaring Kitty. His name is Keith Gills, and he's all in this GME movement. And I'm in the stock market, so I follow this a lot. I'm a holder of AMC and some other stuff. But I follow Roaring Kitty, and he was just a regular trader, not rich, just regular. And he rode that first GameStop ride, and he made like $100 million. What? He went from a regular Joe making $100 grand a year to $100 million. And then he got in trouble. He got in kind of trouble, but kind of not trouble. And he became legend. They made a movie about him. It's called Dumb Money. And it's a really good movie. And this guy, he gets up there and they call him in front of Congress. And they say, hey, what were you doing?
They zoomed him in front of Congress.
Well, they zoomed him in front of Congress. They zoomed him in front of Congress.
This is during
and they said,
time,
hey,
right?
what are you doing? And he's like, I like the stock. And that became his catchphrase. I like the stock. And then when they finally got to the end of the stuff and they said, well, now Roaring Kitty, what are you going to do? Are you going to sell everything and move away? And he's like, I like the stock. And he's legend now. He's legend because he's still in it. Now, here's where it gets cool. He's actually live today for the first time in 2 years. I saw his little bit on YouTube. He might be still live.
Speaking?
Yes. And he's on there and he's like, hey, listen, here's my portfolio. And his portfolio has $120 million worth of stock, $300 million worth of calls, and a few other things. But his whole portfolio is worth like $500 million. And then the haters come out and they're like, hey, yeah, this is crazy. You don't have the money to execute your call contracts. Now, if you understand the stock market, you can buy a call contract for probably 1/10 of the price of the stock. 1/10 the price, maybe even 1/100th the price. But it's only worth something if the price goes up. Well, he bought a whole boatload, like $300 million worth of contracts when it was low, and then GME went up, and he's worth $300 million if he can exercise the contract. So there's two ways to do it. You can go long, exercise the contracts, and hold the stock, in which case they believe he will bury the stock market. But he would need $300 million to do it. He didn't have it. He even says it. I don't have it. So when I left, he was down like $130 million. And he's just back going, some days are good, some days are not so good, whatever. And I'm like, this guy's badass, man. He's great. Now, there's a lot of folklore going on about the world saying, hey, we're not going to keep you on our platform, E-Trade. E-Trade? Yeah, E-Trade. We're not going to keep you on our platform. And that's because they believe he could break E-Trade. He could break them because they don't have the money. They lent it out. They would overextend themselves for him. And they shouldn't have. It's against the law. It's against all kinds of stuff. But it brought visibility to everything that's going on. So when you say, Tony Bowles, I'm just sitting back hatching my evil plan, or
Didn't
maybe
say
even
evil,
not evil
master
plan,
plan.
master plan, hatching my master. I think of Roaring Kitty, and I think you might be the next Roaring Kitty, Tony Bowles. I think you might be. Mia Love, can someone buy a home in a different state and rent it? What's the process?
Yeah, Mia Love, that's a good strategy. You're baller status, huh? Baller status, because it does take some baller status in order to do that.
Why?
You're going to need to put a significantly higher down payment
How
than your
much?
regular first-time home buyer.
How much? We are
Starting.
curious.
Starting, not what it's actually going to be, because you got to put your file together. But starting. Yeah, Tony Ballas, thank you. Everyone, tap the screen.
Tap that screen.
Give us the hearts.
Yeah,
Share
appreciate
us.
you.
We need more questions in here, guys. We need more questions. But back to Mia Love. You're going to be starting at about 15% down. At about 15% down. You're likely going to be 20% down. And not only that, you're going to need the reserves. So for sure, 6 months monthly payment on your primary, 6 months monthly payment on your investment property in an account not being used to buy the house. This is in addition to your 15, 20% down and closing costs.
20.
But can you? Get closer to 20. Yeah, no doubt about that. Can you? Absolutely, 100%. You just got to meet all the tests, qualify for the loan, and you can have your out-of-state property, Mia Love.
Beth Burke is in the house, and Beth Burke comes with the heat. She's like, hey, I'm going to put some sauce on this question. Here we go. He brings us, Beth Burke says, here's the sauce.
Beth Burke's awesome.
If you have a 580 CS, I'm going to extrapolate CS to mean credit score because I'm a genius. Yeah. Okay. Do you put more money down?
I thought it was Civic Sedan.
That could be too. Yeah, that could be too. It could be Civic Sedan, but I do believe I'm going to go credit score because this is mortgages and we're talking about credit scores and stuff
horses.
like that. And horses. We were talking about
And
horsepower.
Kitty.
Beth Burke, the answer is maybe. Maybe. But you might be able to get away 3.5%. Depends on how you got that 580 credit score. If the 580 is because something you did in the last year, then you're probably going to need more money. You probably are going to need more money. But if the 580 is something you did 4 years ago when you were a dumb teenager, because I'm just in this scenario that I haven't.
4 years ago?
Dude, in my scenario, Beth Burke is
a 22-year-old?
23 years old. When Beth Burke was 19, Beth made some very bad decisions. Beth then righted Beth's life. And now Beth is 23, respectable, hardworking U.S. citizen who wants to buy a house. And Beth has a good income. And the system hasn't figured it out yet because Beth was a dumb teenager like we all were at one time.
4 years ago.
Beth made some bad decisions. What? 4 plus 19 is 23.
She straightened herself out in the worst economic time ever.
Hey, yes.
Made good moves,
I have,
Beth.
yeah.
Good moves, Beth.
Beth, you've done very good for yourself. So, we're here to help you. Any other questions, Beth? Let us know. Gonzo, what's up, Gonzo? Great to see you.
So it's a 580 horsepower Civic Sedan. I cleared it up.
Whoa, 580. Dude, that's a lot of power.
Could you imagine that?
A 580 power? That's
I want to see you on the
most
track.
Corvettes don't drive 580. Most Corvettes are probably going to give you, what, 380? 420?
Your newer Corvettes are. Your
380?
older
That
Corvettes
much?
aren't.
No?
Yeah. Your newer Corvettes are for sure.
Okay, cool.
So buying a house, guys, what do you guys want to know? You want to give us your scenario. The scenario that Mia Love gave us was beautiful. The one that Beth Burke gave us was beautiful. What's your guys' scenario? I know a lot of you are sitting at work right now, listening in the background, and getting all the knowledge from everyone else's scenarios, but what's yours?
You know,
What's
I've seen
going on
these
in
loan
your
officers, they
life?
go live at night. We don't do it during the night because we have lives. And we probably would have a very big viewership if we did it at night or during time.
gangbusters.
Yeah, I think so because we put out some badass facts, some good knowledge. I have not seen one loan officer that goes live that can compete with our
What do you
entertainment value.
see? Oh, Tony's back in the house.
What's up, Tony?
What if you use one of your kids as a cosigner? Will it affect them?
You take that. Tony.
Wow.
Tony
with the good questions.
Tony back there hatching the
As a
master
first-time
plan.
homebuyer.
Master plan. Tony's like, hey, here's part of my master twisting
If
a
I
mustache.
have 10 kids.
If I have 10 kids and I put all 10 kids on the loan, will I be able to get $1 million house?
Yeah. So here's what it is, Tony. So you go through the whole process when you buy a house. Income verification, credit verification, asset verification. And when you add a kid, they also go on the liability section of the profile. So I'll give you an example, Tony. Let's say you put a kid on a profile. And let's say, Tony, you hit hard times. you hit hard times, and you're not, trying not to make mortgage payments, but you can't make this month's mortgage payment. Guess whose credit it affects? Every single person on that file. Could be your kid, could be you, could be your spouse, could be your best friend, doesn't matter who it is. Every single person on that profile gets affected negatively by a late mortgage payment. And co-signer, people think, well, I'm the not the primary. You get hit just as hard.
Just as hard.
People
and Tony's
think,
trying to spike up the chat. I appreciate you. Nardo's is going to help. Daisy's going to help. I know these people are going to help by bringing us a question. It can be mortgage related, preferably, but it doesn't have to be. If you want to know what's better, boxers or briefs, ask him. He'll tell you. Yep. If you want to know, should I wear a hat? Dude, you're going to get us banned.
Want to know what commando is?
Dude, this is not good. Daisy just joined. She's going to think this is one of them
we
weird
do home
ones.
loans.
That's all we do, home loans.
Sometimes talk about ponies and undies, but
we're not talking about, we like Mustangs. Mustangs are cool.
Mustang Sally.
Do you like Corvettes too?
I love Corvettes. I don't love Corvettes. I love the C8. I love the C8, which is the newest Corvette, and if the best version.
What's a
of that,
C5?
An older body model.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because yesterday I was talking to somebody, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to get me a C5," and I'm
They're
like,
classic.
"I don't know what a C5 is."
In the 90s.
Okay.
If you bought one in the 90s, you got a C5, and if you got like Ed's, is a C7. So the C8 though, the newest one, the C8. Oh my God! Tony
is there
said,
a C6? Is there a C6?
Yeah, the one before the C7.
Okay. Oh, so it's Corvette Model 5, Corvette Model 6, Corvette Model 7. Okay,
1,
cool.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8.
Okay.
Yeah. If they become your co-signer, are they still considered first-time owners when they are ready to buy?
Ooh, coming with the tough questions.
Tony,
I'm gonna have to.
I thought
Tony,
we were friends.
Tony, yeah. Why
friends.
are you gonna out us right now to see if we know the guidelines? Why are you going to out us like that, Tony? We're gonna tell you what the guidelines are because I happen to beep. Okay, cool. Right. Like the Matrix, you're like, I know Kung Fu. I know FHA. Yeah, like that. You see how that works, Tony? Here's how it works. If they are an occupant co-borrower, then it will absolutely affect their first time. If they are a non-occupant co-borrower, then it gets tricky. Because in certain situations, might be able to make it happen. Some, I absolutely cannot make it happen. What do you say?
Yeah, in fact. So first-time home buyer, here's what you're looking for a first-time home buyer. You're looking for, I don't have the best credit. You're looking for, I don't have the most money down. You're looking for an opportunity to get approved with not the most perfect file. Okay? So will they qualify for the first-time home buyer programs, which there's only 2? And then there's a few down payment assistance you have to be a first-time home buyer for. So if you don't qualify for those, then yes, you can still get something very close to that. It's called FHA, and it's called an in-house program right here with Chris and Lee, where we can actually get you in with 0 down. So will they qualify for the actual programs that are designated for this? No. Can we get you something very close? Yes. We got Instagram popping off.
Oh, and Tony. You did I see that? You see that? Tony
has done it again.
Tony has done it again. Mike Bradbury, 1920-80. I don't know what that means. This guy's calling himself out. He's like, hey, I'm Matt Bradbury, 9820.
It's like Jason Derulo.
That's like Juice and Julio. That guy goes out and he's like, are you going to sing something? He goes, yeah. All right, give me a beat. Bump, 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 bump. Jason Derulo. He calls out his own name all the whole time. It's hilarious, man. No, I asked the question, Matt Bradbury said. Hey, I found one of the things on other loan officers' feeds. Sometimes they hide the question. So ask it in little clips if they hide the question. Yeah. But we do want to answer your question. But I want to tell you guys where we went. We fought. We fought on a guideline. We don't fight often because we know the guidelines pretty well. But let me tell you what the answer was. He actually dug in, and I saw the answer. It happened a couple of days ago, but I've been meaning to bring it up. Here's what the question was. The question was, hey, listen, if I worked somewhere for 2 years and I was salaried, and then I became self-employed for 2 years, and then I went back to work, can I get a loan right away with the immediate paycheck? My answer was no, you needed 6 months to reestablish that you're W-2. And he said, no, you don't. You go straight back. And I said, citing a guideline, if you've been out of work for 6 months and you're back to work for 6 months, then I think you need the 6 months. He said, no, that is a justifiable gap in payment, in pay period, because I didn't stop working. I just changed the way I worked. And so he sent it to an underwriter. And the underwriter came back and said, well, that one's not so clear. So it's underwriter discretion, and you could do it, but you might need time back in service. It will have to be up to the underwriter. So we fought, and it kind of landed up as a draw. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, yes, kind of. Yeah, I do agree with what the underwriter said, but here's what she also said. Here's where it gets muddy. If you come in on a salary, do it right now. If you're going to be hourly and it's all over the place, give it to the underwriter to make a decision.
Yeah, they did say that. Yeah, they did say that.
I want to address Jonathan over here.
Okay, what's up, Jonathan? Great
Jonathan
to see
said,
you.
It will affect them if they are non-occupant, as they can make an exception FHA cosigner. It will not affect them if they're non-occupant. I disagree, Jonathan. If it's gonna be a late, it's a late. It's gonna hit their credit. It's gonna hit the. Now you're saying, can you make an exception for it hitting their
might
credit?
be also talking about buying the house, because if they're a non-occupant co-borrower, can they go buy an FHA house? He did say you can.
First-time home buyer.
Yeah, he did say you can. Yeah, he did say you can. But the one thing you won't be able to do is Home Ready or Home Possible, which are Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac programs. Anyway, but you're right, Jonathan. You're on this thing. If you're an occupant co-borrower, then FHA is going to have a problem. If you're a non-occupant co-borrower, you have to prove you're a non-occupant co-borrower. That's easy to do. Hey, I don't live there. Here's my electric bill, gas bill, so on and so forth. Then I can move forward with an FHA, as long as, Jonathan, this is very important, as long as the primary resident has made the payment out of their mortgage, out of their bank account for the last 12 months. If the secondary had to jump in, we got problems. The problems were probably prohibitive, but not technically prohibitive. The reason it's probably prohibitive is because I have to count the mortgage against the non-occupant co-borrower, because the non-occupant co-borrower stepped in to help make a mortgage payment. Whoa, that's a lot of information.
Mia Love, can a family member co-sign for me? He just starting credit, owes child support. He's just starting credit and he already owes child support? Man, Mia. We need another cosigner. Mia.
Mia.
We need another cosigner.
Okay, hold on, Mia. Are we? Did I mess up here?
No.
Did we? Tony says they become your cosigner. We got that one already. Matt Berryman.
Jason Derulo.
Yeah, Jason Derulo. Okay, cool. Can a family member sign for me? Just started credit, owes child support. So the child support's going to be a problem, Mia. Is it court ordered? If it's court ordered, then it's a liability. And is it current? If it's not current, it's a bigger liability than you know, because you don't know it's a liability just yet. But the state does, and the county does, and they'll find you. So if your child happens to make so much money, like $18,000 a month, and they got to pay $1,000 a month in child support, probably not effect. But if he's the average working American making $50,000 a year, and he pays $1,200 a month, that's going to be devastating. Yeah.
So I want to know why he has children but no credit. That seems silly.
I don't know if you know how this works, but you don't need credit to make a child.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the decisions that people are making. That's what I'm hitting on.
People do not always make good decisions, man. People do not always make good decisions.
I'm not talking about the little bit of 1942 and, hey, man, how you doing?
Is it 1941? I thought it was 1941.
You're drinking the wrong shit, man.
I guess so, man. I guess so.
Tony Bowes, can you get both FHA and down payment assistance?
Oh, Tony's coming with the tough ones.
What are you doing to us?
Tony, can you get FHA and down payment assistance?
And a sandwich.
And a sandwich. Okay, Tony, here's the answer. And it's a good answer. You're going to like this answer. Most of the time, they're the same thing. Most of the time. Because most down payment assistance programs ride on an FHA chassis. Whoa, what does that mean? Okay, so when you get a down payment assistance program, it's assisting with the down payment of a different type of loan. So the loans are VA, FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are more tough loans to get. More tough? Is that the right word?
Hold on one second.
Tougher
One second.
What?
Matt, ask the question one word at a time. Yeah, I don't see your questions either.
Yeah.
But ask them one word at a time. We'll get to it.
Yeah, Matt, we want to help you. Dude, we want to help you. Matt Berryman, 1998-20. Give us the tough questions, though. Don't give us, like, what's the down payment on FHA? That's 3.5% down. 600 credit. There we go. Shut it up, Matt. Put it up there.
Finish Tony's
anyway,
question, man.
Tony. Yeah, so, Tony. I did it again. Tony. I did it again. So, if you didn't know that, that's a song from the 80s. Tony has done it again. Anyway, moving right along. Most loans are on a FHA chassis, conventional is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, VA or USDA. But most of them, I'll say 80 to 90% are on FHA. So on FHA, we go, cool, we got you qualified for FHA. I want a down payment assistance program. Cool. We're going to do CalHAFA or whatever the program is, Shanoa, Platinum, whatever. It's all going to ride on that FHA. So can you get a down payment assistance program and FHA? Most of the time, they're the same thing.
Ooh, Tony gave us a hack. Tony said, or put an emoji at the end.
Oh, that's
so if you're asking questions, put an emoji at the end. I guess it'll force it through.
All right, cool. So
Weird.
We got 600 FICO. That's where we're at.
Okay.
600 FICO, 600 credit. I'm moving on
600 credit, 5
paid collections. Paid collections may not be the best.
Will the
collections
prevent FHA? All paid.
Prevent FHA, all paid. Ooh, okay. That's a good one. Matt.
I like it, Matt.
Matt. We like it. We're about to give it to you. This is what we're going to do. All right? We're about to drop. Oh, my God. What is that? Oh, dude, we got some.
Oh,
we got
like
laser beams. Laser beams coming on one of the platforms. We appreciate you. So, Matt, here's the answer. I know you've been sitting there waiting for the answer.
Yes, 9 times.
I know.
Like 50 seconds. Not 9
I know.
times.
If it all happened within the last year, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. We're going to have to write an LOE, and we might actually have to go manual. The reason for that is we need to know why. Why did you pay 6 collections all at once? Because if your answer is, because I wanted to buy a house, that doesn't show responsible use of debt. It shows, oh shit, I'm in trouble. I can write a check and fix it. And the underwriter's going to go, yeah, that's still not responsible use of debt. Now, Matt, if it was over a year ago and you did the same thing, you wrote a check and you paid them all off. First off, you should have called us first because we would have probably handled it different. Second off, if you already did it and it was over a year ago, now you're going to write that same LOE, that letter of explanation, and we're going to say, hey, I screwed up my life for a little while and I figured out how to fix it, and now I'm living responsibly. If the last year is living responsibly and you did that back then, I could probably get you a loan. But if it happened last month, there might be a problem. In fact, the better way to have done it would probably have been paid it through escrow. What? Yeah, get into a house, paid it through escrow, and then we're able to do it.
Oh, Matt's asking the good questions. Time for a commercial.
Cool. And if you need a badass loan, call a badass loan officer. You can reach your badass loan officers, Chris and Lee, at the New American Funding Bank.
Start from the beginning. Time for a commercial.
If you need a badass loan, call your badass loan officers, Chris and Lee, by calling the number on the screen, which is their personal cell phone numbers. They work for New American Funding, but they are not New American Funding. I will fight against New American Funding to get you a better rate if I have to. I've done it twice in the last week. I will fight my own bank for my clients because New American Funding works for me. Anyway, we will help you. Call us. Bye.
Matt said, thank y'all. Hey, if you guys are bored this weekend and have nothing to do, go to your phone, go to realestaterap.com, cast it to your big screen TV, and watch it over and over again. Realestaterap.com.
Realestaterap.com.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. The funny story behind that is when NMLS got first implemented, we're like, hey, how do we tell people there are good loan officers and the loan officers that left the business, they're probably not good loan officers? You know how? Drop some beats. Yep. 16 bars, just like that. Boom. Here we go. Wait a minute. How are we going to do this and get famous? Hire Miss America. Seriously? You're going to hire Miss America? Well, how about Miss California? All right, we didn't have it in the budget for Miss America. We did have it in the budget for Miss California. Shout out to Brittany Wagner. Not anymore, right? Brittany, she got married. Good for you, Brittany. But shout out to Brittany Wagner, Miss America. And then we hired a few other people. Shout out to Ashley Way. Shout out to Eva Catherine. Shout out to...
Oh, she's an accomplished model now, right?
Eva Catherine did pretty good in her life. Yeah, she did pretty good. Yeah.
Miss California, Miss America, and Eva Catherine.
And Eva Catherine and Ashley Way. And who else? Oh, that was it, right?
Kristen Lee.
Kristen Lee. Oh, don't forget about Eric Brake.
Ooh, he does a cameo in that bad boy.
He does.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he does a cameo. So... realestaterap.com, it's still up. We keep the website just because it doesn't cost us very much to keep it up. And scene. That was it, dude. That was it. Uh-oh, what happened?
Forgot.
We've been over. Oh, dude, we got congratulations stuff going on here. We got all kinds of good shit happening. We got people watching us on YouTube. What's your name on YouTube? We see you on YouTube. We don't see the handles on YouTube. That's why.
Yeah, who
we
are
do
you?
see them on Instagram. We do see them on TikTok.
Even if you click
We
that?
don't see them. No. We don't see them on. Well, who? I need to know your names. I need to know your name so I can address you. Like Matt Berryman, we're trying to help you, man.
Matt Berry.
90-20.
Matt
Tony
Berry.
Bow's back there
Matt
with
Berry.
making the master plan. Making the master plan. Just like Roaring Kitty. If you want to have some fun, Google Roaring Kitty.
But real estate rap first.
Real estate rap first. Oh my God, that's just showing up there?
Yeah. All right, dude, you ready to hit it?
What the heck happened, dude? That's like ancient. That was,
Oh, what did happen?
that's like way long ago, right?
Well, why is it so dark? Is it just the
I
screen?
turned the
Oh,
screen down. Anyway, you know what? Give us a call. We appreciate you. We've been Chris and Lee. We are out.